What up? What up? The Maniaco brothers have made their return with the Maniaco podcast.
Yes, sir.
Podcasting starting now. What's going on, brother?
Just finished some therapy. Client just left my home office, so I'm sitting on the couch where he was sitting. So now I get
What's his name?
his name.
You can't tell me his name?
Who says it was a he?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes.
Didn't you just say you're sitting on the couch where he was?
He identified as a he at that moment. I don't know what he identifies
Wow.
as now. I
Okay,
can't judge when somebody identifies as what.
that's true.
We're very fluid.
The Maniaco podcast is therapy for everyone.
Maniaco podcast is very that's masculine, always,
Really?
never changing.
Wow.
hmm
What's going on? Talk to me.
Worked out, had a good back day today. I took a nice pill that you gave me, and I won't spoil the review if you're reviewing it.
Was that good? It was a hitter.
It was good.
Any appetite suppression?
Yeah, I only ate once today.
Wow. So it has the goods in it.
It didn't. I mean, it had the appetite suppressant. I don't know necessarily if I didn't feel dark Labz style anything extra type of thing, which is actually a good thing. I like that I don't. So if it did, it has just a different feel of it. So that's fine with me.
Yeah, no one's
Um,
reviewed this burner yet. So yeah, I'm gonna take it. So anything specific you want to go over?
not. I didn't have any agenda previously, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if you got things down or
I got
whatever.
things to talk about. I got subjects that I always keep in mind. I gave a I sent an addict some money today that
When you say an addict, what's their situation?
well, over the years I've gotten a lot of messages from people that I've either sponsored or just know that I'm sober or whatever, and they always have had some way to tell me how tough their situation is and pretty much hint for money or ask for a ride or a quick cash app or this or that, and
hmm
I've never once in 11 years done it
Mm.
until today. And this guy who I sponsored for literally a day uh, hit me up and told me that he had a rough situation. He's been kicked out of the shelter he was at and uh, the common ground. It's
Mm.
I guess a treatment center or whatever, and because he can't afford it, and
Common Ground is also for really young kids. They have programs for like really young kids, I think, families.
yeah, they do a lot of stuff in the area. They basically, though, if you're an addict or alcoholic, they'll house you
Right.
and then help you find your next step.
Okay.
Temporarily, they'll house you. And so he hit me up, man, and I'm like thinking, like, I'm not gonna mess with this guy. He's never wanted to go through the steps, and and then I don't know, man. Like, I started asking him some questions, and I mean, he legitimately was hanging out at a McDonald's, and it was 1 degree out, and he was walking around like in the 1 degree weather, and didn't have any place to sleep or anything like that. And I was having him, so I pressed him, and I know he was legitimate, and he said that he hasn't been getting high, and whether that's true or not, I tend to believe he was telling the truth based on all the stuff he was telling me.
Mm.
I made a judgment call, and So I ended up sending him money through PayPal so he could get a motel room because there's this place in Royal Oak that he's waiting on a bed for to get into. It's a homeless shelter called Welcome Inn in Royal Oak. He's waiting on a bed there, so he needed to get through another couple nights before he got called. So I sent him the money, and so he could get a motel, and then he sent me a receipt from Priceline that he used the money for it, um, and showed me that he actually did, which I didn't require that. I did tell him though when I sent the money, I was like, I'm going to send you this money. I don't want you to ever, I want you to agree right now. If I send it to you, you will never contact me for money again. The only way I will ever hear from you again is if you're doing well or you need someone to take you through the steps. Otherwise, I don't want to hear about it.
Mm.
And so he agreed to that. And I don't know, man, something was calling on me with this one to help him out.
I'll
And
tell you what.
what?
You're rich. You have money to give now.
I have enough money to give for that. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to
Got
be able
enough
to do
money to
that.
give to anybody who calls you now and asks you for money.
If Elon calls me, I'm not giving him money.
Elon might need it after all the persecution he's going through these days. But yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, like legitimately, there was a situation that I completely forgot about. And it was almost like I was just listening to my heart and I just wanted to brush him off. And I remember, man, me and Michelle were in LA
Mm.
sitting on this bench, homeless, like in the middle of the hood in LA, just no clue where to go. I think we had Dogatello with us, the dog and everything,
Mm-hmm.
dope sick. And I remember this woman came up and she was this black chick, told us, come on, bring your stuff, get in my car. And she drove us to her house and
Mm.
said, wait in the car. And she ran in her house and ran out. Dude, she handed me and Michelle like $300. Like
Hmm.
out of nowhere, dude. Walked out of this store, grocery store, maybe we were at, hanging out the outside or market or something, wherever we were on a bench.
Mm.
It's fuzzy. Walked out, scooped us right up, drove us to her home, ran in and handed us like $300 and then dropped us off at a motel. And she's like, the reason I'm doing this is because somebody did this for me once and I wanted to pay it forward.
Mm.
And I forgot about that, dude. And I don't know, man, something like when this guy was hitting me up and he was homeless and I saw him like walking around in a 1 degree weather, I was thinking like that memory came to mind. And I was thinking like this this little money I could give him could make the difference of him sleeping outside all night or wherever he would, or him not. And it seemed like it was worth it.
Okay. Very good. It's funny because Pay It Forward was a movie with Kevin Spacey, and things did not pan out very well for him. And
They
I
didn't.
hope, no, they did not. So I hope that
Am I
they,
Kevin Spacey in this role?
you could be.
I
Yeah.
could.
We got to
Yeah.
be careful who you're hanging around now. I don't know if they're, yeah. But nah, you did fine. I'm glad. Hopefully
I
he's
did
got,
what felt. I walked away feeling like I walked away like if I were to say like F this guy and walk away from it, would have felt really uneasy in this
yeah,
situation. And I've never felt that before. People called me for all sorts. I'm like, you're not running game on me. Like
right.
this felt much different.
I think that the immediate feeling that you have is one thing, and I think that the feeling that you have if you keep in contact with this person and see where it goes will it has the potential to change and it has the potential to stay the same depending on how this person acts. But I guess in the immediate, yeah, it's good that you feel good about it. um who knows, if you if you will see this as a lesson of sorts if it ends up not turning out great. or if it is just what it is. I don't think you're going to regret it by any
No, I'm
means. I
not.
think
I
you're
know
just
I'm
going
not.
to,
No matter what happens with him,
yeah, potentially it's like you'll be like, okay, that was a good use of money. He used it exactly how I intended it and how he needed to for what he needed, or he's bullshitting you somehow, and
right.
but hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. When it comes to addicts and alcoholics, I'm very used to having this like non-compassionate, very like straightforward
Mm-hmm.
attitude. Like, if you're not doing the steps, like I got nothing for you, pretty
Yeah.
much kind of
Yeah.
attitude. And it's easy for me to forget like just how sick people are and how sick I was, and try and soften up a little bit.
Yeah. Or just not being the person to stand in between somebody truly falling. I mean, it obviously sounds like
Right.
this guy's falling, but you can always fall a little harder. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
For all
So,
you know, you just made another 10 years of this cycle to continue. So,
oh, you think
this could have been the night where the guy can't find a place to sleep, can't whatever, and says, you know what, I really got to get it together. Or it's the night where he says, oh, I was close to really falling, but thankfully I got some money this can last a little bit longer now. So, yeah,
That's true. That's
the
true.
glass half full mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I never told the people on YouTube how crazy it was recently when I went to celebrate my 11 years sober at China Cafe.
Uh-huh.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and I like everything was pointing me away from there. Like there was, Kayla didn't want to go out to dinner. We got to China Cafe and like they told me the bathrooms were broken and that. And Stephanie was like, "You sure you still want to eat here?" Because she knows how much I'm peeing.
Mm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make it through." And I sat down and we're like, "I got to celebrate this 11-year sobriety with you guys. I love this restaurant." And my server's name was 11. It was crazy.
Yeah,
And
that's a pretty crazy thing. Not a lot of people's name is 11.
that's pretty nuts. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I that was so hold on, I'm gonna share it real quick. That was just a real like God moment for me.
Mm.
Here it is. Hold on. I was like, you're gonna think this is weird. I told her I'm celebrating my 11-year sobriety anniversary and your name is 11. I would love to get a picture with you.
Uh-huh.
And hold on, where is the window? Here it is. Can you see this?
Yes. So that's her name tag 11, and you're
Oh,
wearing your 11-year
11-year
necklace.
sobriety necklace you got me. And I just
Pretty
thought that
cool.
was cool. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it is.
yeah. So,
Nice. So you had a
yeah.
good meal, and then you were on vacation recently, and that was a good experience, right?
Yeah, I went to Puerto Rico. So did you see that guy, Sam Sulek? He like won the
Yeah.
bodybuilding show.
Right. Yes. What was it? His first serious competition or something?
Yeah, I guess so. He like, he's used to like, from what and I'm not like, I haven't followed him so closely, but I've seen like he's usually like a really big boy, and this is the
Mm-hmm.
first time I've seen him like shred down, like really
Right.
shred.
Right.
He looked great. Um,
Compared to what he has been looking like. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, he looked. I mean, he kept
Right.
some of that mass,
Right.
and you know, I don't know. Let's see if we could
What did he
find
do?
it.
Classic? I think this is. Maybe it's body, but no, it's probably classic. Hmm.
Here, hold on. I'm sharing this right here. Can you see it?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength.
Oop.
I mean,
He's got.
he's what?
Yeah, I mean, I can see, it's interesting after watching a lot of these routines from like professionals and stuff, I can see where like some of his weaknesses are
A
like
lot of people were pointing out that his posing is his weakness.
right, like flexing his legs while flexing his upper body is really important. And
His
I don't
back
think,
looks great.
yep,
I mean,
maybe
they all look so similar to me, so it's
I'm
hard.
not opposing, whatever artist, but yeah, like that's a good pose right there for sure. But it's like during a lot of the upper body flexing, he's forgetting, I think, or needs to learn how to also flex his quadriceps and stuff, because they're looking a little softer while he's flexing his upper body.
He's
But
like a
yes,
real, yeah.
overall, he looks good. He's just got improved. I mean, he's so young. He's going to be probably could be a champion. I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he's made a really big mark because he just kind of does this. Let's see here. Do you see it still?
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, he kind of does these videos he's known for where he just kind of vlogs. He just talks in the camera. There's no editing. There's nothing fancy. He just sits and
Hmm.
talks for whatever, and uh, it's just kind of a raw type of thing with his personality that people seem to be really attracted to. And he just
Hmm.
has, a way of wording the bodybuilding life and stuff, and probably a
Yeah.
way
See, like
everyone.
if I'm a judge there, like the guy on the left to me looks like all the way to the left looks better than both of these other guys. I don't know,
So
but of
yeah,
course, like yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of, again, when it comes to competing, there's a lot of politics and stuff involved. Sometimes it's not about
yeah. It's his name alone. Does that
his
get?
name alone is big. People want to see him become probably a pro, get his pro card, this and that. So, um, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't want to take anything away from him. He's worked hard. He's built something good, but the competing thing is just it's I don't know. It's gotten weird, or it probably always has been.
it's. I mean, yeah, he's documented every step of the way. Why do you say it's
Mhm.
gotten weird?
No, I mean it's just clearly like there's a lot of politics and things that are involved in it. That's all.
Yeah,
It's not about necessarily who's truly got the best physique. There's a lot of other criteria, unfortunately, which is
oh
like,
yeah, it's probably been like that for many many years.
mm-hmm.
They used to do best muscle group, I think, like best
Yeah, that
arms,
I
best.
never saw that or heard of that. Really, I know that I remember that somebody we know said that, but I've just never
No,
seen it.
that's a thing. I think PJ Braun told me about how they
Hmm.
used to do that. It was a very popular thing
Hmm.
uh, where they do best body part. I guess they got rid of it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah, dude. And one other thing, dude. I got my blood work from my testosterone. Um,
Yes. Yes.
this was nuts to me, dude. I wish I had a copy here. My test came back at 1,009, and that is the highest that I have ever been since I've been on the dose that I'm on, and I have no freaking clue why it's that high because
Hmm.
I tested at the lowest uh, that it's been.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
if a lot of people realize that testosterone, when you inject it, like the day that you get it tested should be its lowest, and you should be kind of basing um, your results, and if you need to adjust on that. And you're saying that on
a
your
lot
low,
of good endocrinologists will test the peak and the trough. We'll
right,
know so they'll get an idea that it's
right,
not doesn't get too high or too low. But I've always tested on my last day because I want to see the worst case result. So
hmm,
like I injected on Monday, and then I always test Monday before the shot, so I could see the lowest it is.
right,
So that's the absolute lowest I get. it's always been 550 to 680, I would guess, is generally where I tested. 550 to 680 at the lowest. So at the highest, who knows? Maybe it usually peaks at what, 1,000, 1,100. I don't know. I don't.
And you got it tested on what day of the week?
Monday, the lowest it is. And
did you do any workouts the day before?
Nope. It was a Sunday. It was a rest day the day before.
Yeah.
I did a workout that morning. I don't know how a week after my shot of 150, I could be at 1,009. So the doctor called me and he was like, "Oh, I'm very concerned. This number is so high." He's like, we might need to adjust the dose. And I'm like, "Oh God, that's not what I wanted to hear." He's like, "We'll have you retest in a month and we'll see where it is." And he's saying, this might have been the cause of the vasovagal, this and all this, high testosterone. It's like he was so alarmed by it. I'm thinking like, man, it's kind of a sick number. I'm like, that's
there's definitely higher numbers out there for sure. But
yeah,
we know that the vasovagal, that wasn't what that was.
No, I know for sure. But it was like, what am I doing? I was like, it could very well just be like a fluke that my test was so high that week, or am I doing something in my life that's any different? I don't know. I mean, I don't feel any different, but it's just kind of freaky that after a week, it was still that high. So, I mean, it makes me think, what was it at its peak on that week?
True, exactly. Well, and that is important because, I think that number getting too high can have certain certain potential effects in a negative way.
Yeah, there could be negative side effects. Yeah, I mean, I haven't experienced any that I can say.
No, but it just means you're becoming potentially vulnerable or prone to something. And you do got to be careful of that for sure.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know the risk of high testosterone. I mean, I've never looked it up. I don't know if there's,
well, it probably leads to heightened this or lower that, which also messes with like your red blood. Like, how was your red blood cells? Like,
yeah. I mean, all my blood work was great. Besides that,
okay.
Increased risk of certain cancers for high testosterone can have several potential risks. Prostate cancer, increased risk of heart attack and stroke, higher blood pressure. I mean, I don't think 1,000 is like excessively high.
Probably not.
I mean, if people are injecting 300 milligrams, 400 of test at a time or something, I imagine it's insane numbers.
Yeah. I got to imagine they're in like the 14 or 1500s at least,
Yeah.
So, no, I get you. I mean, he's very conservative, and a lot of internists are. They want to make sure that they're, and I think he care. I'm not saying he doesn't care. That's not when I say this next thing, but it's like he's got to play it safe and make sure that he's doing his job, which is giving you the fair warnings of these things. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So RFK got in there. Speaking of medicine, since our podcast, he got confirmed.
Right. And is he doing anything yet? As far as
I think he's.
I don't even know what it is that he wants. I know that I don't know what it is that his mission is while he's in there. I mean, I know that there were certain things as far as making certain foods have safety labels or this or that to let you know that they can cause this, that, or the other, that they're poisonous, whatever.
I think there's a big problem in our country that's been pointed out that other countries have the same exact version of our foods with much different ingredients, that they don't allow a bunch of the ingredients that like Fruit Loops or whatever it is. Different examples of things where it's almost like we're just like poisoning our kids. And for what reason? Because it's cheaper to make or more addicting the food or whatever. So like that's one thing, like I don't see how anybody can object to that. It doesn't seem like a conservative or liberal issue.
No,
Don't
no,
I don't really see what the argument could be against the specific that with our food specifically.
no, I agree.
I mean,
I
it,
agree. No, I think that people get caught up in other stuff. Like people will say, well, 20 years ago, he said something about vaccines and you don't want to mess with vaccines and polio was eradicated and we don't want to bring things back. And I don't know the history of vaccines as far as like they're I don't want to demonize all vaccinations. Maybe there have been a lot of lives saved
I don't
through.
think demonizing all vaccinations is a good strategy either.
Yeah.
I think the opposite
Nor
is.
do I think that that's necessarily what what he does, and that's the problem. I think people
I think
call it an
he's
anti.
said that he's vaccinated his kids and stuff.
Right,
He's been
right.
outward
So
about that. I think he said that I mean, in his words, he said, I'm not anti vaccine, I'm for vaccine safety. And
testing and
he's been able to, I guess, prove that no vaccine on the schedule is truly safety tested
right,
to how it should be, and that pharmaceutical companies get away without having to really fully safety test them.
yeah,
And nobody's been able to step up or been willing to and debate him on the issue.
no,
Which
or sue his book, The Real Anthony Fauci. He's never
did you did you finish the book?
not yet. No, I'm listening to it on tape and listen to it here and there. I haven't listened to it through yet, though. Yeah, but definitely, I mean, there's tons of things that people don't know about these companies, and COVID opened people's eyes. It gave us because things were done so crazily. It if they didn't want people to ask questions, they should have done a much
I
better
agree
job.
with you. It was really a blessing to open a lot of people's
Yeah,
eyes
it was
who
great.
weren't hip to that because we were just straight up lied to.
Yeah,
And I just think that people are programmed. You hear vaccine and you think good or maybe
mhm,
bad.
yeah.
You just hear the word. It's
Or
either
you
all
just don't
good,
ask a question about it, which I
right?
think that's where the issue is. It's like, no, it's okay. We can ask the questions because there's been enough issues with them where they deserve asking questions. The main one being, how can we imagine that there's one thing that's good for everybody, right? There's no such thing as that. And even if your response to that is, well, yeah, but it's good for the great majority, so therefore we'll take the risk. It's like, okay. And then when your kid does get sick, it's like you're just at peace with that, even though there could have been maybe some testing in place that says this would be good for this person, but not for this one. It's like, it doesn't need to be an all or nothing. There can be some middle ground here. And yeah, so I'm all for keeping these companies accountable, realizing that these companies are businesses and very, very, very big and powerful ones. And so let's keep them honest and let's keep them accountable. And people were definitely not wanting that guy in from a business perspective.
Pretty bad
So
for the pharmaceutical industry.
yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah. It's just hard for me to imagine that anybody could be like, you know what? We're doing so freaking well with our healthcare in our country. We're just crushing it. It
Hmm.
would really be a shame for him to come in there and ruin that. It's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
do you have an argument that we're doing so well? Like,
No, we're very unhealthy. That's the reason why
it's
that
insane.
more people died in our country from COVID than yeah, than many, 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 many others. And it's because of how unhealthy we are.
That was one way. The other way was how they counted deaths was
Right,
pretty insane too.
right, right. Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
I feel like what he stands for, whether he executes it properly or not, I don't know all the details,
yeah,
legalities, and everything. It seems like a good thing what he stands for.
definitely.
I
He's
yeah,
the most exciting to me part of what's going on.
I think a lot of people voted for Trump because of the promise that he would be the Make America Healthy Again guy. And Trump, I think, pulled a lot of votes in for that promise. I think that was part of the optimism of the Trump campaign.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I just think that they're really it's hard to make an argument against.
Well, it's hard to make one that's not just emotional and that's actually logical. Yes, it's very hard. You're not making a very good argument against him, or against wanting the country to be healthier, wanting more testing to be done, wanting more transparency in that realm. It's like if you're just if you're always looking to be on the defensive with all those issues, then you're either very married to your ideas, which is dangerous and silly because that means you're not open to hearing something that could change your perspective, aka something that is truthful, or you are suspicious, and I will be suspicious of your motives, and your probably blind hate for the president, because you don't want to give any credit to anybody who he's even brought into his administration. That means too,
Yeah, I guess there can't. It's hard for me to imagine that somebody could bring an argument to the table and say pharmaceutical companies and big food really care about you. These people genuinely care, and how dare you question their motives? I mean, this is huge business. So
no, it's good. It's good to question. It's good to hold people accountable. It's good to show them that we're asking and looking, because that means they have to watch themselves more. And that's good for everybody. That's good for all of us, the consumers. Yeah, for sure. So, okay.
I guess he did some kind of executive. I think there was some kind of thing he did today or yesterday about the, something about the testing with antidepressants and some of the studies that have come out with the SSRIs. And not to say they're all bad or all good or any of that, but some of the misleading information that came out, I was listening to something about how like some of the biggest medicine journals have admitted that depression is not, in fact, a lack of serotonin. And so, there's definitely mixed controversy about our SSRI. If I forgot how to word it properly, but pretty much like if that's true, then what are the SSRI? A lot of people are dependent on SSRIs, and it's, becomes an addiction in a sense, because, like any other drug, you become dependent on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because I've seen plenty of people who do start SSRIs in the midst of a depression or whatever, and they're helpful. So, I mean, maybe a lot of these studies are showing that there's not a link. I mean, I can see from my small sample size comparatively that I've worked with, there is positivity that you get. It doesn't change your life circumstances. I mean, we got to put the right expectations on what an SSRI will do and how it will help you, and how far it can go for helping you. It can definitely be helpful, though, as far as mood, as far as optimism, as far as hope. If you get on the right one, it's no placebo. It's definitely linked to helping. I just don't think it's obviously not an answer for curing somebody of something, of a life circumstance or something that brings them sadness or anger or depression. But
do you know how they work?
Not very well. No.
I don't either.
No, I mean, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They boost your levels of serotonin in the brain, which help calm you. Dopamine gives you like that good, like exhilarating, more like, oh, I'm feeling really good, I'm exhilarated. Serotonin is more like calm and content.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
There's a
didn't know
difference
that.
between, people often use those two things kind of like interchangeably, and they're definitely different. Serotonin and dopamine. Like when you get a dopamine hit, that's like a little rush, like it gets you going. And serotonin is more like when those are leveled, more calm, content, not as anxious type of thing. Which
Yeah, I
is
think
why
a
a
lot
lot
of
of people
people.
are on them for anxiety as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might feel threatened too. Like if somebody comes in there who's they feel is bashing, pharmaceuticals or certain things that people have in their life, they think that might be taken from them or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a client who yesterday she had told me that we got somebody in the office who's never going to leave. Like what? You just go to the biggest boogeyman kind of argument to to cancel him or to not give him credit for any other thing. And it's like, who's giving you that information, and why do you feel like you need to align with it?
We got somebody in the office. You mean Trump?
That he's a dictator and that he's never going to leave office and blah blah blah. It's like, do you forget all the 4 years that just happened before? Do you forget, like, and it's an unfortunate, like,
Well, they're just stupid.
it's a derangement. It's being so again, it's being so married to this hate that you have that you're not able to think logically. And
Yeah, what is
logic,
it? A reflection of themselves? They just hate themselves so much.
I don't think it's that they hate themselves so much. No, no. I think it's that there is something to be said about group thought, and that when enough people think a certain way, you feel like you have a license to also think that way. And there are plenty of people who have those kinds of ideas. So when they hear them from others, they want to jump on that bandwagon and say, yeah, I mean, I dislike this guy so much that this is the camp that I want to be in. I agree. He's a dictator. He's the worst guy ever. He's never going to leave. He blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I can logically I can argue that with one simple question: did he leave 4 years ago after his term?
I was just saying, how's he going to do that?
That's it. That's enough to say. Well, then, what makes you say, and what gives you more evidence to overturn it this time around than happened last
Well,
time?
they'll bring up January 6th or whatever, the insurrection.
Right.
They love
Yes.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have no like great love for anybody in the political realm. Really, nobody's, or I felt nobody's like majorly given me these warm feelings of like wanting to love somebody who I've never met.
No,
And
there's
who
people worship
the
politicians.
closest so far is, though, RFK, me getting on board with what he stands for.
Yeah, why
That's
not?
like so far the closest that I've gotten to like really identifying with somebody who's in politics and being like, I really like where this guy's head's at least what he's saying he wants to do in terms of the system. It
Seems
sounds
like he stands
correct.
for something positive.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
great.
yeah, if
Yeah.
he could get in there and make some good changes, and I don't think anyone's going to become more unhealthy because RFK Jr. is
No.
policies have made them less healthy.
Right.
I've got to imagine that would be completely delusional to
Yeah.
think that.
Well, it's people who are anticipating things that he hasn't even gone for and said, which would be like getting rid of vaccines or things that are just like not even what he's trying to do. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm with you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah. So, what else is going on?
Nothing. Just what do I got going on? My dog is turning 2 this weekend.
Oh yeah, we're gonna celebrate.
My Rottweiler baby.
Mm-hmm.
She's been home bored most of the day.
She's just fine.
It's unfortunate. She's
Yeah.
been very upset being home during this cold weather. I got her out 3 times though. and I'm sure she would like to go out again. But
I did tell one of my viewers I was going to make mention about the manufacturing process for pre-workouts, and I wanted to bring that up because I see a lot of people, the Reddit, man, they give me so much content on there. We got to go on there one day and pick apart some of the stuff. It is mind blowing. I send you here and there some screenshots just to and it is I mean, it is. There's never a lack of content or conversation we could have off of this, off of their.
Is that an app as well, or just a website?
It's an app and a website,
Oh.
and it's like a forum. They go on there and they post whatever the heck they want. But the people, and there's a pre-workout community, which people send me all the time. I'm constantly getting these people saying, look what they posted on Reddit and this and that. And I see the most outrageous things. And there's one pre-workout community. I'm trying to see how many people. There's 13,000 members in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of posting going on. There's, every day there's, 15, 20 people, posts or whatever it seems like. And it's extremely funny. And I think people are very misguided about.
It's funny because people are funny, or it's funny because
some people are funny and some of it's really sad and ridiculous. Yeah. Some people are funny. So like this guy, he's a good dude. Man, I have a crazy idea. So he's stacking Maniaco with more Alpha Yo pills. Just, everyone. So there's like 11 comments about that. There's all this. People give pre-workout reviews, written reviews, more written reviews. Does anyone have issues peeing after taking strong pre-workout? This is 9 hours ago. So there's Excelsior just ordered a tub, wondering how strong the recent batches are. Like, this is all stuff we could comment on. And, where is High Stim Ace and his review vids, because they completely treated him like garbage in there and did a bunch of shady stuff with him.
In there? In where?
In the Reddit.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, for instance, they took a picture of him and made him into like a really fat guy and tried to talk junk. Yeah, it's like a bunch of toxic garbage on here is the point. Yeah, so he stopped posting on there and stuff. He's like, screw these guys. And so I think there's a lot of people don't know how the actual process works for pre-workouts. A lot of people think that the companies who have the pre-workouts make them themselves. And that's a huge misconception. I would say like 98% of supplement companies rely on an outside manufacturer to make their products. Okay. So like a lot of pre-workouts come out. I just wanted to talk to people about the process. Let's say we get a pre-workout and it says DMHA on the label, and we think we're about to take a DMHA pre, and we take that pre and we feel no DMHA. It's completely bunk and it's a disappointment. It would be most people's natural reaction to be very upset with the company and be like, they're trying to screw us. They're pretending it's a DMHA pre.
Right.
And yes, the company is responsible for that. I agree.
Yeah.
What often happens in many cases is the manufacturer gives them samples that are awesome. And the company says, yes, go ahead and run it. The samples were great. And the final product sucks.
And it sounds like there would have to be the ability to have legal recourse for something like that, no?
Well, it's hard to have legal recourse when a DMHA is a pretty gray area thing.
So,
anyway,
you're definitely you're at risk for it. Yeah,
you're at risk. So, like a lot of times, it's the companies who are also getting screwed, not just the people buying it. Everybody's getting screwed except the manufacturer. They made out great because didn't put in the tub what they said, or it's poorly sourced or whatever. So like if you and I wanted to make a pre-workout, first we would come up with a formula.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first thing we do. Then we would have to turn the formula in. We'd have to find a good manufacturer that we trust. We would give it to them and they would price out, let's say we want 1,000 tubs. They would say, this is what we would charge you for 1,000 tubs of this pre-workout or whatever it is. And then we could decide what we would charge people wholesale or, direct to consumer, straight directly to them by each single tub. And so let's say we're paying $14 a tub for pre-workout. We could wholesale it for $24 a tub or sell it directly to people for 45 or 50, whatever it is, So they would send us samples. Then we would, with the different flavors, we'd have 2 flavors or whatever. And we'd say, okay, we like these samples, or we want to adjust these, ingredients and change it. And we'd get another run of samples. And then we would say, we would have the artist make up the labels because the manufacturer can't make it until they get the labels in with the supplement facts and everything. And then they would, they'd have to run the 1,000 tubs or whatever.
Right.
And then we would get them all boxed up. Or they would go to a distributor who would, like a third party who distributes them for you.
Right.
There's companies who just distribute. And so it's many times the people think, and then like people on Reddit think, oh, what they do is they send the reviewers the good tubs. They make a few good tubs for the reviewers. So the reviewers hype it up and then they, pull the okie doke essentially and send everybody else, the snickle fritz, which is clearly just never happens.
No.
I mean, every time I review something, it's just some random tub that came in an order. It's the same as what everyone else has.
Right.
So I think a lot of people don't know the process, and that, I mean, the manufacturers are really the ones who make a good product or don't make a good product. You can have two manufacturers. We just saw this with Maniaco.
Right.
Exact same ingredients.
Right.
Feels like 2 different pre-workouts.
Yeah. I would imagine that the incentive is on those manufacturers to do right, though, because then the company won't use them as a manufacturer anymore.
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
Yeah. So, and then they get a bad name. So I think everybody wants to do, hopefully, or would want to do the best they can, unless they're a small operation that's just trying to get a quick buck and then dip. But like, if you're in this for the long term, you want to make your customers happy, right?
Most people in the supplement industry are trying to make a good product.
Yeah.
Okay. But as you said, there are people who are trying to do a quick cash grab.
Yeah.
Like anybody putting DMAA on a label, we know it does not have DMAA.
Yeah.
And that is a quick cash grab.
Right.
And it's short-sighted.
Right.
And it's really stupid.
Yeah. Who's what are some of the companies that are the same as the manufacturer?
I think NutriBio, Metabolic Nutrition, who makes Synadrex and stuff.
Okay.
Insane Labs. Dark Labz has done some of their own manufacturing with the stuff in Poland. There's let me try and think. There's a few of them that I knew who do their own manufacturing, which really gives them a leg up in the game because the products are so cheap for them.
Right.
Right. I'm trying to think of who else there is. I don't remember. There's but that's a few of them, and you can tell good manufacturing from bad manufacturing. High Tech does a lot of manufacturing for a lot of companies now. They do Blackstone Labs. They do Redcon 1. They do Condemned Labs, some very big companies. they make that Jack 3D and all
I
that.
see. Right.
Yeah.
Are there any brand new companies that are out that you've been introduced to as of recent that you like?
Uh, well, so 5% Nutrition is not a brand new company, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
really haven't been using their products. I just got a really nice care package from them that I'm really
Okay.
excited about. The formulas look awesome.
Yeah.
And I just had a protein today. It's protein with real carbs. And they use like a blend of uh, almost like that Redcon 1 MRE protein with
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the beef, the
Right.
chicken, the egg, that,
Right.
and the carbs were like sweet potato, um, whole grain oats, and stuff like that. It's a very clean label,
Nice.
and yeah, it's really nice. Yeah,
Sweet. Good.
yeah. Hmm.
Very good. Yeah. I have. I'm due for a new daily pre-workout, and I don't know what you got for me as
I
far
got
as
one here you'd like.
high. It's like a higher
Skim
energy
Junkie
daily.
Daily.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
If that's what you consider the last thing that I had.
I have Dark Labs Crack Daily.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
And you
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, I like it. It's it was awesome. A lot of people love it. This is it right here. No illicit ingredients in here.
Right.
It's got 5 grams of citrulline, 4 grams of beta alanine, 2.5 grams of glycerol. The pumps look nice on it. I haven't used it in a while. L-tyrosine. This is a sealed tub. Haven't even
Okay.
opened it. Beta PA caffeine is at 300 plus dicaffeine malate and caffeine citrate. I think it's, let's see, 360. It's under 400. Theobromine 75 and 1.5 alpha yo. Yeah,
Cool.
it's a great daily product, and there's 30 servings in here.
Okay.
This is a really solid one. Yeah, that
Cool.
one's good.
I'll
So
consider it. Nice.
yeah.
Did you watch the Saturday Night Live special, 50th anniversary?
No, I saw Lil Wayne perform
Really?
a music video.
Wow.
He did
That was his Super Bowl halftime makeup. They screwed him on that.
why was he? Were they considering him?
No, which is I don't know if they were or weren't, but it was in New Orleans, so it would
He
have
was a
made
way
sense.
better performer than Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, for sure. It was
Yeah, no,
garbage.
he did one of those things on Saturday Night Live where he does like he goes through like 10 of his hot songs in like 6 minutes, where they do like 30
Oh,
seconds of each one and then transition.
like but he was doing them.
Yeah,
Like,
he was a lot.
oh, okay.
Actually, the Roots were playing
I
live
see.
music behind him,
Right.
and it sounded good.
Good.
I mean,
Quest.
he's like a guy where you hear him perform and you're like, oh, he sounds exactly like he does in the
Right.
studio. Not everyone's like that.
No.
Some
No.
of them, you hear him perform and they just sound like total trash.
Right.
And at least he's consistent, whether you like him or not. He's
Yeah.
consistent with how he sounds. I don't know who else did. Like, do they do the same? I saw the Tom Hanks
I didn't see
thing
any.
that
So
like, well, because people like conservatives are up in arms about making fun of Trump supporters, and they're outraged,
no.
all that
Oh.
fake outrage about
Okay. Yeah.
everyone outraged about. It's like, who cares what
Yeah.
SNL says? They're just
Yeah.
another irrelevant.
Well, and
Like,
your hurt feelings don't. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like if we're talking about hurt feelings, which one side is majorly more into getting hurt feelings, then the other side shouldn't give in to that. And
I agree.
yeah,
The heck cares what SNL does?
yeah, absolutely.
It's like these people are so irrelevant anyway. Like they're
Yeah.
like any culture today, dude. No young person is like, oh, I got to stay up to watch SNL.
I don't
Like,
think so.
nobody cares.
No.
So who cares what they say? Nobody cares what Jimmy Kimmel says on the late night show, or that he cries about this or that, or like
Right.
these people are so irrelevant. Just let them destroy
Yeah,
themselves.
absolutely. And even if they were, the thing about it is even if they were relevant, you're getting hurt feelings over somebody who's, I mean, their job is to create jokes and talk shit and a little bit and
They're
whatever.
not
And it's like,
funny.
they're not funny, no, but like,
Can you
yeah,
imagine? Not only do they create jokes, there's a group of writers in a room
yeah,
who
yeah.
come up with this, and they're like,
It's
"Wow, what a great line this is!" And they're all like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, that's great. That's gonna kill
That standard has lowered. I apparently yes.
it."
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
I hear
So
you. Okay,
anyway,
cool.
so life is good.
Yeah, life is
All
good.
right. Well, I just wanted to do a quick pie. We got to get on here more,
Yeah,
and
we
we
can
should
if
bring
we
people on.
yeah we could do that if we plan ahead enough. We can do this more often. That's how this goes. So,
All right, brother. Well, God bless you.
cool. You
And,
too. I'll talk to you.
all right. Love you,
All
bro.
right,
Big
love.
birthday this Saturday.
Big birthday party happening.
All
We'll
right.
see you there. All right, bye.
Peace.